discuss how Likkle ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets, so we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. It is another edition of Likkle Byte Ideas. It's Wednesday, December 20th, and we are in the countdown in the throes to celebrating Christmas 2023. I hope that you are having a good time, that you're not too stressed. You're probably shopping, trying to get the Christmas meal together, getting your gifts together, getting yourself in order for this celebration. We are delighted to be with you on the eve of such a great celebration because we know most of us are stressed about money and spending. So we have a really great show planned for you today, our final show of 2023. Let me get my co-host in here, Megan Samuel Fields, CEO of Samuel Fields Consulting. Megan, how are you? Very festive, I see.
I am ready for Christmas. I'm ready for Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Good.
And all of that stuff.
At least someone is. I wish I could be like you and say that I'm ready. I have so many loose ends to tie up, and, getting things together is always, you never have enough time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I decided to go very, very simple this year, so I don't have a lot to do. So that's been a blessing for me. So I'm all ready for Christmas.
Fantastic. Well, we are delighted to be joined today by someone we've been following her. She has a show and we have a show, and we've been following each other, but we finally get a chance to share a virtual stage. And again, the topic, I don't believe I gave you the topic. I alluded to the fact that we're going to be talking about Christmas. Of course, we're doing our festive finance series. We had a wonderful episode last week where we talked about cybersecurity. And I hope if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I encourage you to go to our YouTube page and just do the replay. It's really a great discussion. I learned so much. I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. And today we're going to talk about the pitfalls of SPAVING. You might be saying SPAVING. I didn't say paving. I didn't say I said SPAVING. And that is the word of the year as far as we're concerned, because everyone does it. We're all tempted by it. So we're going to talk about SPAVING, talk about what it is and how we can improve our financial behaviors to address SPAVING. There's so many temptations during the holiday season. And, SPAVING in a nutshell, it's when you're trying to save, but you end up spending. So, like our grandmothers would say, you throw away dollars trying to save cents.
Absolutely.
We all do it. The thrill of getting a bargain, especially at Christmas, is what retailers position themselves to tap into. And we all do it. No one should feel guilty. We're all tempted by it. But back to our guests, we are delighted to welcome Miss Luana Laurent. And she is with Finance Focus. She is from Dominica. We're delighted when we can spread our wings beyond Antigua and Barbuda and invite some of our neighbors. And we've had someone else from Dominica on our show in the past, and it was a really great experience. Luana, welcome to Likkle Byte Ideas.
Welcome,
Hi,
Luana.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to your listeners and your followers.
Fantastic. And as we say in Antigua, yes, and the culture between Antigua and Dominica is I hope Dominicans love Antiguans as much as we love Dominicans. Dominicans are a part of us.
We are always kids.
And as we say in Antigua, fair Antigua, Dominica. Here Antigua is the first line of our national anthem. So
Yeah.
the Dominican culture used to be so infused. When we were going to school, we would say, Fair Antigua Dominica. So
That's
we're
interesting.
delighted to have you. So
That's my
Luana, I've seen the wonderful work that you do. You're an inspiration.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
you're a hard worker, and I don't know a whole lot of Dominicans, but you must be among one of the hardest working Dominicans, doing so much work to bring public awareness to financial education, financial literacy. So I want to give you a minute to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are, your experiences, and some of the wonderful work that you've been doing.
Good afternoon again. It's a pleasure to be here on your program. A little bit about Finance Focus. So we began operations sometime back in 2017, and we are a financial literacy, financial education company that also provides business support to micro and small businesses. We offer financial coaching, business coaching, and accounting services. You name it. We take you, the individual and the entrepreneur, from money management all the way through business management. And
Nice.
it has grown over the years. It started off as a hobby. If you can believe that, my passion for financial literacy has put me in a position where I want our citizens to be better with money management, because we're not taught that in schools. We learn that from our homes and our habits. And if we are better with money from a young age, it will make us more wholesome individuals, and we will avoid many of the pitfalls, like one of what we're going to speak to about today.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
fantastic.
so
Well,
that's
we're
that.
delighted to tap into some of your knowledge. I know you have a following as well, and I think it's such an important topic because, like I said, especially for the ladies, we can get so carried away at this time of year trying to um, make everyone around us in our circles happy, our coworkers, our clients, our family, getting the gifts, making sure that the services that we use, that everyone gets tipped. And it's when you're self-employed, it's a time when you really have to nurture relationships to make
Indeed.
sure that everyone that you have associated with throughout the year feels that this relationship is something that we want to take forward into 2024. So,
Indeed.
ladies, let's get to it. Megan, tell us, and you did a great job on Observer Radio this morning. I heard you talking about spaving. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully, persons heard your call to action, and they're going to join us and be a part of the conversation. To our
Yes.
guests, you know that we always welcome your comments. If there's something that you want to share or a question that you have, feel free. Of course, we'll have a section where we acknowledge all of the comments and questions, but feel free at any time to drop your comments in the comment section. So, Megan, tell us a bit about spaving. What is spaving?
All right. So saving is, it's if you notice, SP, that's from spending, and the rest is from saving. And it's really when your intention is to save, but you end up spending. So instead of saving, you spade, which is really spading. And we do it all the time. We are online a lot, and we put the things in our cart. We knew what we were going for, and then something pops up and says, you're eligible for free shipping if you spend an extra $50 or $40, whatever it is. And we think, oh, that's a deal. So let me put more things in my cart so I can get the free shipping. But really, when you check the amount of money you actually save on shipping, free shipping, and you compare that to the amount of money that you've just added, the amount of things you've added to your cart, you actually end up spending. So we all fall prey to it because the marketers out there, they know how to, and the advertising people, they know how to get us So we all cooperate with it. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to get a deal, but you have to ensure you are in fact getting a deal, because it's not every time you get this offer that it actually turns out to be saving. So in those instances where you actually don't save, you're actually saving.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Luana, tell us about your experience with spaving on a personal level, and perhaps messaging that you put out to your clients that you may have had to address on the issue of spaving.
I'm guilty of it.
I think we all are.
I am guilty of it,
Mm.
especially when it comes in the form of free shipping or cashback rewards.
Yes.
We see that happen from time to time, and we're currently in a season where we want to provide, we want to feel good, and many of us, especially women, we're emotional shoppers, and
Mhm.
we are always looking for that deal or that saving. And in an effort to keep within our financial management habits, we're thinking, if I spend that little extra money, I'm actually saving, because this is the deal I'm getting right now. The practice that I have applied to myself and my clients is acknowledging that it will happen. We can say we
Yeah.
budget for the season, but we always go over our budget no matter how hard we try. So in an effort to minimize the effects of spaving, I usually recommend coupon apps. And there's a particular
Mm.
coupon app that has, as Megan has mentioned, you have to know when you're getting a deal, and you have to know if it is valuable to you. The Honey PayPal app or browser extension is one that I always recommend to individuals during the Black Friday or the Christmas season, sale season, that can help you to identify and minimize spaving. Because what it does, it actually tracks price history and vouchers and loyalty points throughout different websites. So it shows you this week the price is 30 something, $30. But when you go in depth into that app, it shows you, but that price was actually $30 last week. So here they are now telling you, if you buy this, you get one free, or you buy this and you add free shipping. You're
Mhm.
not actually saving. This app is helping you to identify this isn't really a deal. So there are different
Mm.
tools that we can use to minimize the effects of spaving.
Mhm.
And
Can you tell me that app again? Say the name for that app.
it's Honey, as in Winnie the Pooh Honey,
Uh-huh.
PayPal Honey. It's
PayPal
a
Honey.
Yes, it comes in an
Okay.
app. It's also a browser
Okay.
extension. So what it does, let's say you go to Amazon and there's a little pop-up on the side of your screen. You look at the price and it's telling you this is the best price. Or
Mhm.
the price recently increased or recently decreased. And you can see the trend of that price over the period of time. And it
Mm.
will tell you if you're actually making a good deal.
Wow,
I
that's a
love it.
great tip. That's a great tip.
That's a great one. Yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
Now,
Mhm.
let's so we've introduced the whole topic of spaving. So everyone, of course, now understands what we're talking about, and I'm sure everyone is going, uh-huh. I've
I've done
done
that.
some of that. Raise your hand. We're all guilty. But
Mhm.
Megan, let's throw up our first slide, and let's look at the some of the strategies. There are many strategies that are used when it comes to spaving, but let's look at the ones that most retailers, and when we say retailers, we're looking at not just online retailers, even our typical standard. So Megan, let's walk us through the biggest pitfalls of spaving.
Right. Okay. So on the screen, you see we're showing these are the biggest pitfalls, sorry, spaving. And the first one, I spoke about it. Buy more online to get free shipping. So that sounds so interesting, so enticing. You pile things on, but you have to be careful. because what you may be adding may be much more than the cost for shipping.
Yeah, and
And
1/3 of the people in this survey admitted that
can
they
you
do that.
imagine? Can you imagine?
You know,
So it's something we all do because we all want to save. And you were so right, Luana, as women, we are always looking for the deals because we have a lot to do. We have kids to think about, our families, work, school, and any ways that we can save, we want to back in our trucks, but we have to be careful. Then another pitfall is the coupons. And
Yeah.
you're buying items just to use a coupon. So because the coupon gives you a discount, but you only can get a discount if you buy something. So be very careful. You only use the coupon if you really do need the item that you want to buy. So be careful. And 15% of persons have fallen into that trap as well. This other one, I was speaking about that today. Buy items in bulk only to waste them. For me, I started out when I got married buying a lot of things in bulk because that's what my mom did. And so I was doing the same thing without thinking about it until I realized this doesn't make sense because the things are spoiling. I didn't have as many heads in my household as she did. And so buying in bulk sounds like a great thing. And you know what? It can be. So non-perishables, toilet paper, paper towels, and that kinds of stuff, sure. But certain fruits, vegetables, and other things, rice and those kinds of things that we get the weevil and that kind of stuff, you would want to avoid them. So yes, it's good to buy in bulk, but only if they're for things that you will use and not waste. So those are the 3 biggest pitfalls of spaving.
And you know, the last point that you made here, buying items in bulk only to waste them. That's a very good point. And one of the ways that we can identify whether to go ahead and buy in bulk is by asking ourselves a question. You know, how many times in the next 3 months will I use that item if I actually buy it in bulk? I found asking myself that question helps me to control my spending, especially during these times when there's a lot of deals flying around and you don't necessarily need the item, but just because it's on sale and earlier in the year you had a wish for it and you feel like right now it's at a price where you can afford it, you go ahead and you just buy it all up, and then in the next 3 months it's still in the corner looking at you.
yep,
Exactly. So we have to be careful.
yep.
And
Another
what you
tip,
said was so true. Asking yourself a question. Because in asking yourself a question, you're giving yourself just a little bit of time. And sometimes that's all you need, a little bit of time to just think this thing through and not impulsively go and spend your money.
Yes, indeed.
yes, another tip that I saw a lot in doing research for this show is they say to us as online shoppers, if you think you're an impulse buyer and you tend, you're someone who succumbs to temptations very often, they recommend keeping the items in your checkout cart for 2 days.
Yep.
If after 2
I've done
days,
that.
and I've even done that in the store.
I'm doing it right now.
So, but interestingly, you guys are the finance people. I'm more of a marketing and economics person. And so I looked at this more from a marketing standpoint. From my side, I encourage my clients, I advise my clients on the strategies that would, incentivize their clients to spend more. And it's all about behavioral economics, which is defined as the study of why our spending and saving decisions might be less than rational. So we, our savings and our spending, we may sit here and have every rational approach or answer to why we save and we believe in it. But somehow, when it comes to our own spending and saving, they just don't add up. They're just not rational. And there's a whole study out there designed to uncover ways, you know, retailers, prey on that to discover ways to get you to part with your cash. And so our job is to try to help you beat the system and to spend wisely. But I wanted to also look at some of the other spaving techniques that are commonly used. Free gifts.
Mm.
Mhm. Oh, yes.
They try to tell you, you want to get a free gift, just spend what have you. Or everything else might be free, but for the free gift, just pay $10.
There's a popular clothing site that does that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna call any names.
I think I know the popular site. And I'm ashamed to say I got caught.
Well, listen, you're fighting a whole science. You're fighting tacticians who sit down and map these things out.
Oh, absolutely.
We're
And they
lab
make
rats when it comes to this kind of stuff. There are people, there are teams out there working.
And that's why
money out of your wallet.
And that's why I tell folks, it's a habit we're trying to form. And habits are not things that you create in one go. So we are all going to make mistakes. But we make the mistakes and we start again because it's hard. It is very hard to stay on the straight and narrow, especially during the Christmas season when we really want to be a bit more festive. We want to give. We want to have some more fun. And these advertisers and the marketers are really pouring it on. We're going to slip. We're going to slide. But let's pick ourselves up. And we're going to try again because we all have our financial goals that we want to accomplish. And we can do it little by little.
And it's a process. Let's look at BOGO deals. BOGO deals, I know. I've been to shoe stores. And my goodness, you sit there.
Hey, that's back in the day.
You spend an extra hour.
Listen,
in the shoe store because you want the second one.
I beat that option last week. I went by Payless, and they're like, "But you can buy another one and get it out."
Payless was known for that.
I'm only taking this one.
So, Luana, I have twins. So when they were younger, can you imagine being in a store? Because of course you're not going to spend a lot of money on kids' shoes because they grow up so fast. But I used to go and buy shoes just because I'd get the second one half off. Mm-hmm. So I would, they would have extra shoes that they didn't need, but just the thrill of, I have twins, so I'm paying $30 for one pair of shoes, and the next one is $15. So that I walk away feeling good. I saved $15, and in essence, what it is, I spent $45 that I probably didn't need to spend. Okay, so BOGO, there's something about BOGO. We know the tricks, but again, like I said, there's just a disconnect between the rationalizing our spending.
We want a deal.
Everybody loves a deal. There's a chemical reaction. If you dig further into the psychology.
Yeah, I always
it gives you a dopamine rush.
Of course,
money
of course.
Is emotional. Our relationship with money is emotional. We are emotional creatures.
Absolutely.
We are. And especially women.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing can be said about product bundling.
Oh, yes. Oh,
so
yes.
They know related items. Ketchup goes with mustard and bread goes with cheese. Okay?
Yep.
So they know.
Bundle them.
When you think about buying one item, if you buy bread, you're going to need butter and cheese. Okay? So they make sure that everything is lined up in a way to incentivize you to spend. They make it so easy for you. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Often, of course, the bundle has some kind of discount. So they're not just telling you need butter and cheese, but it's going to be discounted cheese or maybe an extra slice of cheese. Okay. But again, it's to give you that pleasure, that satisfaction that you've gotten a deal.
You got a deal. You got a deal.
I see this every day. I'm seeing it right now. There are a lot of these tricks in the market right now, just waiting to catch us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let's throw out that slide about what would you do. So I really hope that our our audience is following the discussion. We'll give them a chance to weigh in after we do this. But this is just an example of some of the deals you'd get, especially online. So, for example, magazine subscriptions. This is something that all of us get caught with. So you see the price for the online subscription, which is $59. The print subscription is $125, and the print and the online is $125. What's going on here? What's the psychology? The reality is, all they're doing is listing. If you are interested in the online subscription, all they're really doing is showing you the savings that you're getting if you got print. So you look at it and you go, wow, you mean I can get to actually read this whole thing for $59, whereas somebody who wants it printed has to pay a whole $125? And the reality is, we all know online subscriptions, there's really no extra cost based on the pricing model. So you may actually, or if you're somebody who would typically go for the print, you're saying to that person, wow, let me throw in a bonus and actually send it to you online as well. And really and truly, would you need both? For a subscription?
Exactly.
In most instances, you're either somebody who likes to feel this thing in your hand, okay? Or, as most people would do nowadays, just get the online subscription, right?
Yeah,
you can share it.
Physical copies,
Yes.
Everything is accessible online.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But here's what I'm saying. Either way, if you opt for online, you feel like you got a deal because you're saving money. If you opt for print, you feel like you are saving money because, I also get the online with it. And there's really no difference in price. You see the psychology here?
Yeah. The print and online. Yep, I see. And
Okay.
we fall for it. And then what happens? We end up not even reading the magazine anyway.
Exactly. Because like I'm saying, most people don't need both. Most people have a preference.
Absolutely.
Don't need both. Okay. Now, vouchers. This one is interesting. $12 for a $20 voucher. And the next one, $40 for a $55 voucher. Which one would you choose?
It depends on what the voucher is. But here's the thing. The difference is for the $20 voucher, you're saving $8.
Yeah.
$40 for the $50 voucher, you're saving $10. If you're just looking at the difference. But you're actually spending $40.
You're spending more money.
Spending more. So is it a voucher that you're actually going to benefit from, or really benefit from? I think those are the kinds of things we have to think about.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, we get a $50 voucher. That sounds good. But you spent $40 for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now,
So
we'll come back to that because I found a chart that broke it down even further. But let's look at the chino pants. And apparently this is something that's trending online from what I understand. So you get one for $33.99 and the next one for $56.99. So that's really $34 and $57. So I think you probably, this is almost like not a BOGO, but this is all similar kind of thing as a BOGO. The second one you pay a little more. Essentially, you should be looking at $57 and splitting that in two. So instead of saying, oh my God, I got the second one for $9, really and truly, you got, let's see, 57 divided by 2 is what?
28.50.
Okay.
Yep.
So essentially, you bought, the deal you really got is that you got 2 pants for $28.50.
This one actually, it catches me a lot. Then, like halfway through the decision, you're asking yourself, do I really need 2 of these items?
Exactly.
and then dividing it and seeing that it's actually what the actual unit cost is
Yes,
when you buy
and
the
the
two
savings
pens. That's
and the savings
important.
per unit cost. Is it worth it? Maybe this is when we bring up
Is it worth
Luana's
it?
app
And,
to see what the
and
real price is.
What the real
yeah,
price is, exactly.
many times, and I identified that recently, we're shopping from the shelf, we're shopping from the site, and we're only showing the cost price. But when we get to the checkout counter or the checkout box, there is taxes, there's shipping, there are all
Exactly.
different things that inflate the price even more. So at that point,
Yeah.
when you're thinking you're paying 28.50 for one pants, you end up maybe paying $34 or $35 instead of the
Exactly.
Yep.
$33.99
Mm-hmm.
for that one pant.
Mm-hmm.
Megan, could you put up the next slide, please? I want to double back to the voucher story because here is a theory that I hadn't thought
The
about.
return on the dollar one.
Correct. So back to the voucher. You're paying $12 for a $20 voucher, and you're paying $40 for a $50 voucher, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you're actually spending for every dollar you spend. When you spend $12, that deal gives you $1.67 in terms of vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For the $40 voucher, you're actually only getting $1.25. So
That's
these are some of the
interesting.
metrics that you really have to look at. So really and truly, you're probably better off buying two $12 vouchers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know?
Wow.
So
That
these
is
are some of the eye
interesting.
openers that
You
we
see,
really
Wow.
want to discuss
back
further
to
today. That
it
when
comes
you're
back.
shopping, especially during the
Yeah.
holidays, when you're not in your typical state of mind, you are in a state of euphoria. You are doing, you're shopping more than you typically would be. You're busier. And, these are some of the things you really have to keep your eyes on because you could easily blow your budget, number one. And then, of course, is this really a deal?
But
So I think now
Yeah.
we have a
You
great
wanna
sense.
no, Luana was saying something
Oh,
great.
I'm sorry.
We sit here and we tell people all these tips and tricks, but in the heat of the moment, when you're experiencing that excitement of shopping and seeing those deals, it takes a lot of discipline to take a step back
Yeah.
and
Oh,
think,
goodness.
how can I evaluate this transaction? We can get caught up very easily and we know what we need to do, but in the rush of the moment, it all goes out the window. That is why when it comes to personal finance, discipline and habits are a key foundation in actually improving your financial management position,
I
because
agree. I
we
agree.
spoke about the pitfalls of saving. We told people what to look out for,
Uh-huh.
but Christmas Eve,
Oh, yes. That's a
there's so
whole,
much excitement in the air.
yes.
You have to ask yourself, do I really want to put myself in a position where I'm actually focusing on my money management? Will I take the time to do this calculation, to assess the
Mhm.
situation before I actually spend? And that's how you
And
know you're ready.
in addition to what you said, Luana, it calls for proper planning as well. You
Indeed.
can't leave your house without a plan and go town Christmas Eve because some pretty thing is going to be flashing in front of you, and all the things that you said you were going to do, you didn't do. So it's important to plan ahead. If you know that this is the problem you have, you only walk with a certain amount of money in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's done, that's done.
That's
Stick to
done.
cash.
If
Stick to
that's
cash.
what it takes. If that's what it takes. Some people can't handle a credit card or a debit card because it allows them to just spend. There's no
Yeah.
limit. So you go back to the handy dandy cash and put that in your pocket, and when that's over, that's over. If
Yep.
that's what you have to do. Yeah.
You have to try. You have to try to manage your money, literally.
Yeah.
Yep. Another thing
And
that
we know, I was going to say, we know we are the finance people, and here we are saying we too have been guilty. So we know how difficult it is. And others who probably don't have the type of experience and exposure that we've had to money management, it's going to be even harder. So it's a tough one, but I think we can do it.
So we have spavers trying to correct sin. Another before we're going to get to our viewers because we want to hear their comments and we want to hear their experiences. But another thing that I thought was interesting, charm pricing. So what they do with charm pricing is a strategy that intentionally reduces a round number by 1 cent or 10
Oh,
cents.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
$2.99 and then $9.99.
Right. Or they're getting a little smarter these days. It used to be $29.99. No, it's $29.90. A lot of the retailers do that. The H&Ms and people like that, it's not $29.99. They're taking our brains a little further, $29.90.
Man.
And this is because, of course, our brain associates $29.90 more with $20 than it does with $30 because there's no fee in there, right? And that 10 cents difference has a psychological impact of $10 in our thought process when decided on a particular garment, something in retail. So I'm looking this is from the marketing side that I'm giving you these tips as to what marketers do as far as pricing.
You're selling out the secrets.
Selling out the secrets. They have, but Luana, I believe that if marketing and finance don't get along, the business can't run well.
Totally
Marketing,
agree.
And we know
as a
that.
marketer, you need to know more about finance. And as a finance person, you need to get your marketer in your pocket. Okay? So this pricing strategy, this charm pricing, it amplifies when it comes to big ticket items. So if you're looking at something that cost $1,000, just think of the way it looks. $1,000, let's say for a big appliance or something electronic, versus $999.90. Okay? So this is I'm giving you the insider tips from marketers. This is the psychology that they are tapping into to ensure that they can, dislodge more dollars while you think you're saving cents.
Yep.
Okay. Another thing very quickly is the promo codes for first-time buyers or first-time users.
Oh, yes.
So that's how they get you in. First, if you're a first-time buyer, you get this huge discount. And this is when we need to bring out Luana's tracker to see, is it really a discount?
Is it really a discount?
Experience with this company or maybe that product category, you may not know that there's $10 off or whatever they're offering you. It's really not that significant. You can probably go elsewhere and get a similar item without making that kind of commitment.
Yeah, but you also know, if I should add, that it's also a strategy to get your information, because many times they want to send your email address.
Yes.
So once they get that email address, they're going to bombard you
Absolutely.
with sales emails that are just gonna confuse you over time and make you more excited and enticed to visit their website.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So we've gone through a number of different price traps, sales tactics, especially for those of us who like to shop online. And it's an ultimate test to your ability to withstand temptations and your ability to math. So math now has become a verb. How well can you math?
How well can you math?
That will then determine, and that separates the spavers from the savers.
And don't be afraid to pull out your phones and go on your calculator.
Absolutely.
I've done that many times. So you go to the supermarkets and they say they'll give you the cost for 6. I need to know what the unit cost is.
Exactly.
It makes sense. And pull
Yeah.
up my calculator if I need to. If I can't look at math in my head.
Yep. And a lot of these
Sometimes
exclusive
that's what
clubs
you have
as
to
well.
do.
They use clubs
Yeah.
and that type of thing as, join this club or become a part of our
Mhm.
special this and that for another
Yeah.
additional 10% savings or $10 off or something. But like you said, Luana, it's another way of sucking you in even further because once they have your email information,
Oh, yes.
and then of course once you buy and they have your transactional information,
Oh.
and they can tell you what you purchased in the past, and it's just
And
so
what
you're
you may
surrendering.
like. This
Exactly.
is what they recommend.
Exactly. So you are
Amazon
surrendering.
is big on that. Yeah. Oh,
It's a
yeah.
science.
It
Well, this
is.
has been a very
Amazon
interesting
remind
discussion.
you.
So, Megan, let's see if we have any comments, and we're going to get to our shopping
We do.
personalities.
We do. So the first one is from Antigua and Barbuda Department of Youth Affairs. Hello. She says, festive indeed. I'm sure you're speaking about me. And then from the Antigua and Barbuda Department of Youth Affairs, with a 2% hike in the ABSC approaching, what are the best items consumers should buy now?
Let's come back
That's
to
an
that
interesting
question. That'll be very
question.
interesting because I want to talk about the ABST free weekend that we had last week.
Okay, so we'll put this on hold until
Yes, so
we speak
I'm
about that.
making a note. We're going to talk
Okay.
about the 2% and also ABST reduction.
And Norma Samuel says, good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon,
hi, Norma.
Norma. Good stuff. That's all we have for now. So continue sending in your questions and your comments.
And Luana, just so you know, if you don't know, ABST is the Antigua and Barbuda sales tax.
Sales tax, yes.
So we
Well, I'm
currently
sure she knows.
we pay 15% currently, and we are looking at a hike, a 2% hike in the tax rate
To
on sales
17%.
tax to 17%
17%.
on January. So is it effective January 1st?
Or second.
Okay, second. Yes,
If I
January
understand
2nd.
correctly, last weekend there was a reduction in that 50%
Correct.
Yes.
As an incentive to shop.
as an incentive to shop before it goes to 17% on the first.
Well, it's something they do every year.
They
It's
do
something they
every
do
year,
every
yes.
year. In fairness,
Mhm,
where
mhm.
there's an incentive
Every December.
given for Christmas where they give an ABST reduction to incentivize people to shop for Christmas. But I see exactly where you're going, and I totally agree with you. It's
Because the question that comes to mind is during that time when it was reduced, what were the true impacts on these prices? Did retailers actually inflate prices just so that they could still get that 15%, but suggest that it was less, 13%?
Well, hold that
don't
thought.
think so.
Hold that thought.
don't think
It's
so.
not even so much a matter of whether they reduce pricing or not, because I'm not going to badmouth any of our sponsors or potential sponsors on this show. But what I found was interesting is that there were so many ads online from a lot of retailers reminding you that it's an ABST reduced weekend. So whether or not the prices were affected, and I'm sure there were some who, they're retailers. We're looking at how we can benefit as consumers. They, as retailers, are looking to see how they can benefit and get the best sales and make it profitable. Yeah. But what I found interesting is that retailers responded with very strong messaging because they wanted to get you in their stores. They weren't leaving it to chance and just the government saying that this is happening. They actively, if you saw the paper last week, both online and the printed papers, there are few left. Every retailer, especially the ones who sell perfumery, the jewelers and what have you, they were reminding you about the ABST reduced weekend.
They should. As they should.
I was going to say that. As they should.
I totally agree with them. It's designed to stimulate the economy.
Yeah.
So
And
has
it
to-
has. So every year, and I've seen it get bigger and bigger. This might be I don't remember how many years now, but a few years now. And this thing has grown to the point where persons make a decision. I'm going to wait,
yeah, to buy my
especially for
stove.
big ticket items, buy my
Yeah.
stove, buy my car, buy big ticket items, because if you can get, and then what the retailers do, because I think the discount, the ABSC is like 10%,
Mhm.
and the retailers add on the 5%. So you get really ABST
Right.
free.
Right.
And so
Wow.
that is such an attraction for consumers to come in and take advantage. But that's a clear area where you can save.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I'm sure
15%
that is
discount,
where.
great.
Yes, because if you go to buy a washer dryer, you suddenly realize I need a coffee maker.
Exactly.
You know.
And it's ABST off. So let me get it now so that
Yes.
I don't have to worry.
Gonna go
Yeah,
up.
I've
Yeah.
always thought about getting a mixer. Let me see what the price of a
Mhm.
mixer is. Oh wow, for 500, and especially if there's a payment plan that
Oh,
I can go on. Oh,
Mm.
forget about it. I'm sure courts and
Yep.
places like that, where they
Yeah.
have higher purchase mechanisms in place, on top of everything that we're talking about here, they probably make the initial price or the down payment so low
so
that
Or attractive.
if I can
also
interject
attractive.
here,
Yeah.
if I can interject here, we're speaking about spaving and we're talking about the pitfalls, but based on this additional discussion that we're having, I'm considering spaving can be bad or not, depending on the specific circumstances. Because if you think of it on the other side of the coin, there may be situations or considerations where there's long-term savings. If spaving actually leads to long-term savings and financial benefits, it can be a wise financial strategy. Or if there are short-term costs, sometimes spaving can involve upfront expenses that may strain your budget in the short term, and you have to assess if it aligns with your financial goals. And there's one particular consideration when we're speaking about spaving, and we've been mentioning it a lot, but we haven't said it specifically. And I believe it's opportunity cost.
Oh,
When it comes
yes.
when it comes to spaving, we should consider the opportunity cost of the money that is spent on spaving. Money used for one purpose cannot be used for another, potentially more valuable financial goal. So
Mhm.
when we're considering spaving, especially in a weekend that just passed and in this festive time, we should look at the opportunity cost of spending that money versus the effect of whether we're saving it or spending it. This just came to mind as we were
Absolutely.
speaking
No,
on,
that's a
on,
great
on
I
point.
both
agree.
parts.
I agree. And I would say that if you spend so that you can really save, I don't consider that saving. So when I go and I shop for paper towels and I get a savings when I buy in bulk. So I buy 12 or 18 in a big bag, and the cost per roll is quite a few dollars less than if I were to go into the store and buy one.
Mm.
I consider that savings. I spend a lot up front, but then I don't have to spend on that
For a
again
period of
for
time.
a very long
Yeah.
time. And they're not going to waste, they're not going to spoil. So to me, that's a saving. So that is not saving, but it's when you go and you buy something just because it's on sale, just because
Yeah.
they offer some incentive, you end up buying things you don't need. You end up actually spending more than you planned for. And I'm so glad you mentioned the opportunity cost. You now can't spend that money on your child's shoes or something for school.
Or some
Yeah.
investment, some small
Or some
investment
investment. Yep.
that you
Or
could have spent
paying
on.
off debt.
Or paying off your debts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's a really good point.
Yep.
So I think
Understand.
in listening to this conversation, for me, spaving is when you yield to temptation without really properly assessing And I think that's the
Yes.
problem. Because if you stop to really rationalize it, your
Yes,
rational
yes.
side kicks in and tells you, no, this is nonsense. You really don't need it. But when you yield to the overtures, the incentives, the sales pitches, and you allow yourself to be sucked into that psychology, that is
Mhm.
what spaving is all about. That's where the problem and the pitfall really is.
You know, I
So
saw a quote the
take
other
us.
day when I was reading, and it said, if you can control your emotions, you can manage money. And
Wow.
that makes a lot of sense.
That's
Wow.
true.
I love
That
that.
is
I'm
so
writing that
true.
down.
How many times you bought something and by the time you reach home, you look at it and like, I don't even know why I bought this.
Yeah.
But at the time it was good. You probably saw a mannequin with it on, and
Yes.
you right away you buy it. And then by the time you get home, that was impulse buying. So I always say anything to do with money, any decision you have to make with money, stop. Take a deep breath
Yes. Slow down.
and ask yourself a question. Do I really need this? Is this the right thing to do? And maybe the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes, sure. But most times the answer is not really. You don't really need it. So even putting, I've done it so many times. I think I want stuff from Amazon. I put it in the cart and I say, you can walk away.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, I go back. And 9 out of 10 times, I just take them on.
You have emotionally disconnected already.
I'm disconnected. I don't even know why, but I'm in the cart in the
Yes,
first place.
exactly. You know,
As
when I
as an
I
as
try to
an
do that.
as an emotional shopper, an impulse buyer, yes, I had to admit that to myself. I have developed a technique, and I share that with my clients as well. When you want to make an impulse purchase, you can ask yourself 5 questions. Is this indulgence or is it an investment?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning it's a need or a want. You know, we normally
Mm-hmm.
convince ourselves that things are needs. So we take it a step further and we ask ourselves, can it wait? You
Uh-huh.
decide you're going ahead and it can't wait. You go ahead and you ask yourself, is there a better substitute? You're still convincing
Mm-hmm.
yourself, no, I need to get this item right now. And finally, when you reach the bottom end, you ask yourself, what can I sacrifice or compromise to get this item right now? And most times we don't want to compromise or sacrifice. And by that
Mm-hmm.
time, we're emotionally disconnected from the purchase.
Yeah. Yep. I like that. I
and
like
it's,
that.
it's
Those are
very good
good
advice.
questions to ask.
It's
Yeah.
very good advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we
Wow.
have any additional questions, Megan, or comments?
Well, we didn't address this question,
Yes,
so I
let's go
want
back to that
to.
question. Correct.
Right. So the question is, with a 2% hike in the ABSC approaching, what are the best items consumers should buy now? And I really think that's a question that it will vary for different persons. And it depends as well on your level of finances. But I would say, if I would use what Luana just said, those questions, ask those questions and see, look at the most of the items are going to be increased anyway. There are only a few that um, they won't have an ABSC on it. So ask yourself the questions. Is it a need or a want? Is it an indulgence or what did you say, Luana?
Investment.
Investment.
An investment. And then go through those questions to find out whether it's something you really need, because a 2% hike in ABST. So if you buy it now versus next year, it will be, especially if it's a big ticket item, it will be significant. So that's where I would look at. I wouldn't necessarily go and stock up on food per se, but that's me. I wouldn't stock up on food, but it's a conversation I would have with myself on big ticket items. A car, and that might be something you don't make. That for sure is not an impulse buy. Well, any big ticket item is not an impulse buy. Your washing machine, your refrigerator, those kinds of things. And don't just buy a new fridge because next year the ABS is going up. If you don't need a new fridge now, don't buy it.
I
Because
have a
you're going to
thought,
stay there.
and I'm not even a finance person. Hold that thought, Megan. I have a thought. In response to that, in trying to beat the 2%, are you then going to incur finance charges? That's something you have to ask yourself.
Exactly.
So are you going
Exactly.
to say, wow, let me
That's
go and
part
get
of the sacrifice.
let me go out and buy a new car so I can save the 2%. But then you pay 8% interest in trying to
Exactly.
finance that loan.
Spaving.
So that is that has
Spaving.
to be even, that's worse than spaving. That has to be, you have to
Even
find
on the
another word for that.
refrigerator and appliances, when you take the higher purchase,
Mhm.
are you really
Uh-huh.
saving on that 2%?
Ah,
Because
you're
you're
really
that high
saving.
purchase over a period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yes, and
absolutely.
then of course, again, like you said, Luana, the opportunity cost. Is it worth it
Always.
trying to save, let's say, $1,000, right? And then forego maybe paying a credit card bill that you end up paying
Paying more interest on?
more interest on, or that
Yep.
is that $1,000 that, yes, you have your new fridge and you saved $1,000 and you can call all your friends and say, see what I got from the ABSD weekend. But then it means that, you know, you're behind in your mortgage or you're behind on some other bill.
Mhm.
So it's something that, you know, it's something. So spaving, as I've discovered, is even bigger. We came here looking at holiday shopping and,
Yeah.
you know, the natural touch points that we're affected by as far as shoppers. But this thing is huge and it can
Yes. Oh,
have, you
yes.
know, a lot of impact on your whole financial plan. It can really be disruptive to your financial plan if you when it comes to big ticket items, because we know most of us don't have limitless pockets. If you spend on A, B is going to suffer.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So
We
hopefully,
have another comment from
yes.
Roberta Williams. She says, excellent tips. Keeping to a budget is critical. At 75 years old, it has taken me several years to be disciplined in this area. And I feel you. I feel you.
And you're not alone, Roberta.
Tough. It is tough. It's tough. Norma says, as a child, my mother said I was a miser. Maybe I still am.
I wish I was a miser.
She also says persons should check carefully the prices at this time. Planning is very important, and I support that.
Yes.
I support
Yes.
that. Yeah. So it sounds to me that there's some main things we have to do if we're going to avoid saving and falling down that slippery slope. We need to plan. We need to have a budget. We need to stick to the budget. And I always say, write that budget down. Don't keep it in your head because
Make a
your
list
memory
and check it
sometimes.
twice.
Absolutely.
Check it twice. Exactly.
Sure.
Check it twice.
It's amazing how
Then,
time goes by on this show. No matter how we start
oh my
out and we
gosh,
think we have
that's true.
time, we never have enough time, no matter what the
Whoa.
topic.
Yes. But the
Before
other
we
thing I
leave,
want to say is we pause. We need to pause before we make that impulse buy.
correct.
Have that little moment to pause, and I think that will do us well.
No, listen, once you slow down, like I said, your irrational side is quick. It's quick to action. But once you slow down and you allow your rational side to catch up, chances are
Yes.
your head
Chances
is
are,
already
you
in a
know,
much better space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. And of course, let me add from a marketing standpoint, marketers are coming at us as shoppers, not just with the pricing and the spending parts of it. They use color, they use music,
Yeah.
they
Yes.
use
Oh,
scents,
yes.
Yes.
they use they appeal to all of our senses, right? With the ultimate goal of dislodging more dollars from your pockets. So the spavin and the price point part of it usually is the end result of a lot of different factors coming together, designed to get you to dole out those dollars.
Part with your hard-earned money.
Now, before we leave, and this has been such a great discussion, we
It's
all shop
been.
differently. And if you go to our Facebook page, we have a quiz trying to identify what type of shopper you are. And so, for those of you who found what we discussed today very interesting, we encourage you to go take the quiz to kind of find out what type of shopper you are. This was a quiz that was put together by a bank. And of course, based on the type of shopper you are, the bank has options for you, things that they would encourage and what have you. So we three ladies took the quiz. And so there are four types of shoppers. You have the trendsetter, the sentimental shopper, the festive shopper, and the pragmatic shopper. Ladies, where did you fall?
Festive shopper, Heather. Yes, you're more festive.
Yeah, I was more of a pragmatic shopper.
Yeah.
So I encourage all of our listeners to go to it's also in our newsletter, if you get our newsletter. I encourage you to go take that quiz and just kind of see what kind of shopper you are, because that too, we all have habits and we're all emotional beings. And I like a lot about what Luana said today about, you should always be asking, am I indulging or am I investing?
Yep, love it.
I think if you even stop to ask yourself that question, sometimes you may not even have to answer. Just a question alone snaps back into a realm of rationality.
Get back to reality.
Better behavior.
So I have there's a quick comment here that I think is quite interesting. Lorraine Nobley Edwards, hi Nobley, says, good afternoon, ladies. Good program. Another pitfall is increased credit card allowances by the service provider.
Yes.
When given as a reward for managing your credit card.
Yes.
So you've been paying well and they realize, okay, let's give her an increase.
Yes.
Let's give her a bigger temptation.
Yep. Thank you.
And by the way, Lorraine Nobley and I are birthday twins.
Oh, yes, I forgot that.
Ah, so happy belated to you. Yesterday was our birthday, so hope you had a good birthday.
You're like Christmas season babies.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
The spending is in our genes. Think of what our mothers were doing or thinking about when they were having us. So I guess we have an excuse if we're spenders. Yep. This has been a most interesting discussion. Luana, you have to come back. You are you're everything that we
thought and more.
We thought you were, and meeting you in person or meeting you virtually. You're definitely a bundle of you're a breath of fresh air and just a walking bundle of knowledge and advice. And we definitely we've looked at you in the past and said this is someone we have to get in one of our conferences. Yes. Saying that, so we're happy that we were able to meet.
And we were supposed to ask if you knew our brother because we saw that y'all were friends, but obviously this.
Oh, that's right, Clement Samuel.
Yes. You know Clement?
The name sounds familiar.
Oh, okay.
She's a networker. She doesn't have to know him personally. She's doing her thing. She's a networker. She should know every mover and shaker in all of the OECS territories.
But I'm so glad we could do this. We really need to do more collaborations.
This conversation and the discussion, and I'm even more humbled to meet you guys and following you guys through LinkedIn and social media, and being on the show, being invited on the show. We are doing so much good work in our region, and I just want to see. And
we're going to do more together. We're so happy to connect with you because there's so many ideas that we have that we can spread our wings regionally.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Luana. It was a great pleasure.
Yep, and to all of our listeners, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. If again, as we say, please go to our YouTube channel. If you're not yet a subscriber, please subscribe so that if you miss an episode, you'll get the notification and you can always watch it later. We do have a really cool newsletter that we send out weekly, or we try to be weekly, and always a lot of information and pointers. If you're someone that's interested in finance, in fact, we all should be. I think you'll find a lot of great information in our newsletter. So to be added to our mailing list, please send us an email at info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com. We'll be happy to add you, and you'll start getting your newsletter. We're not very intrusive. We try to do it no more than once a week, Sunday nights when you're getting ready for your week. We drop it discreetly in your mailbox so you can read it first thing on Monday morning and start your week strong. So this has been a really great episode. This is our final episode for 2023. And we want to take the opportunity to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're wishing you great financial health and blessings. Megan, over to you.
I just want to say Merry Christmas to our listeners, our viewers, our followers, and we look forward to seeing you all back in 2024. We're going to be coming with new and exciting and different things, so look forward to seeing you. And Luana, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for 2024. Success in everything that you do.
Yes, it
And
was my
Merry
pleasure.
Christmas
It is
too.
good to see you and your followers.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right.
Well, folks, we don't want to keep you much longer. We know you have a million things to do. So we're going to sign out and we'll see you in 2024. We'll send notices out to let you know when our next episode will be. Have a financially healthy holiday celebration.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.